guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing great and happy Monday. I actually surprisingly really like Mondays. It's a great way to just restart and refresh and kind of start a new week, especially if the week previously was really long. So I am excited it's Monday. But anyways, today's video is actually a collaboration with Anna from Just Making It Work. I'll have her channel linked down below, so be sure to go check her videos out. She makes a lot of really great content, especially about homeschooling. She also has some good motherhood videos, and I actually also just implemented her latest video, or latest 1 or 2 videos I believe, about meal planning. So be sure to go check that out, and I know you'll love her content as much as I do. And then I'll also have linked down below the playlist of other mamas kind of sharing tips and tricks and ways they like to implement, honestly, and just how to try not to be overwhelmed in their home. So I hope you guys do enjoy today's video, and if you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and let's get into it. As you can tell from the title down below, I'm going to be sharing with you just a really few quick and simple things that I have done that has really helped me honestly kind of rein in my big feelings and big emotions when it comes to motherhood. I know a lot of the days, I know if you have little ones, you can also understand, it can honestly feel like everything is unraveling around you. It can feel like chaos sometimes. And there'll be those afternoons where I'll be sitting down nursing the baby, and while I'm just sitting down for the first time that morning, somebody else will spill something, and as soon as I clean that up, then somebody else needs to go to the bathroom while the baby still wants to like finish nursing and things like that. And it just feels like the constant need and the constant, being pulled in so many different directions that sometimes, if I'm not careful, I can succumb to those really big feelings really easily. And it kind of gets to the point where the kids will like look at me for a little bit, and they'll be like, "Mommy, are you having a bad day?" And I don't want them to ever like look at me and think like, "Oh, she's just having a bad day, she's tired." I'm trying to get to the point where I can handle my own feelings without putting that on them. And what is funny to me, and I've actually always have found this interesting, how me, and honestly I think just parents in general, from what I've seen, kind of take their kiddos, and if they're whining and they're melting down and they're having a hard day and they can't put their big emotions into words, a lot of the times like we as parents can discipline them for doing that. And I've kind of come to the place of where if they are melting down, if it's over something like maybe something simple and something maybe that's not necessary, instead of saying, "Oh, that's not necessary, let's not let that happen," I've kind of gotten to the point where I can approach my child and say, "Hey, let's sit down, let me help you process how you're feeling, we'll work through these big feelings together." And what I have found to be so interesting is that the same things that we have disciplined our kids for, whether it be the meltdowns and things like that, are the exact same things that we struggle with as adults. Like, I have a really hard time putting my really big feelings into words. Sometimes I know I might not act like a toddler, obviously, and have a complete meltdown and just start whining. But on the flip side, like, I can just completely withdraw and not say anything at all and things like that. So even though we both, like the kids and adults alike, have a hard time kind of just dealing with their big feelings, I've kind of learned along the way to extend grace to my little ones for doing the exact same thing that I as an adult do, if that makes sense. But anyways, some of the things that I do personally in my life when I am getting to that moment of feeling just very overwhelmed, and if I know that I am either about to snap or about to lose it, or about to lose my cool, if you will, one thing that I have, it's so practical and simple and easy to do. I honestly just breathe in for 8 seconds and then let my breath out for 8 seconds. I breathe through my nose for 8 seconds and then let it out for 8 seconds. And I feel like that completely restarts kind of my train of thought. And scientifically, I actually looked it up at one point, and I actually learned that when you do breathe in and breathe out for that 8 seconds each, it actually triggers that thing in your brain that says, okay, you can release whatever stress it is that you're feeling. And so I found that really interesting, and that has really helped me. And the second thing I do after I take that deep breath in and just kind of let that go, is I pray. And it's funny because a lot of people might be like, well, they pray first, and you should pray first before anything else. However, sometimes I feel like my mind and emotions can be so like wrapped up that in order for me to get to a place where I can pray, I have to take that deep breath in and just completely just let it out for a minute, like with my long breath out, and then I am able to pray and ask God to help me to get through the rest of the day. The third thing I do is actually I try to put certain Bible verses throughout my home, specifically Bible verses that I am trying to memorize. I know for me, when I am feeling those really big feelings and those really big emotions, it can be really hard to think of words to say even in prayer, but being able to take a scripture that I have already memorized sometimes speaks for myself. So when I am, like I said, overcome with those emotions, being able to actually just speak is sometimes really hard for me. I don't know why, it just really is to put into words what I'm feeling, but being able to have those Bible verses already memorized, being able to speak those truths to me and speak them to God in a prayerful way has really helped me in overcoming those big emotions. One of my favorite Bible verses that I really love is Psalm 61 verse 2, when it says, "Lord, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." And so a lot of the times when I am dealing with those big emotions as a mama, I will think about that verse as well as some other great, just honestly just dwelling on God's promises in the Bible as well, for when you are in those extra times of need. The fourth thing I try to do if I'm still struggling in my day as far as like just really being overwhelmed, I honestly try to think, and this might sound kind of cliche, but I honestly try to think of the things that I am thankful for, and not just mentally think of what I'm thankful for, but also realize that these little tiny issues, like little people needing me for 10 times in 10 minutes, might be something so little in comparison to what other people are dealing with right now. But it almost reins me back in, so to speak, and makes me be like, wow, I need to just stop because it could be so much worse. And the fact that, you know, I'm complaining because little people need me 10 times in 10 minutes is just, it's eye-opening to me to be able to sit down and actually realize, like, this is what I'm thankful for. Like, I'm actually thankful that I have milk to clean up and spills to clean up, because that means I have little people in my life to clean up after, if that makes sense. But to kind of rein that back in and be like, okay, Lord, thank you for all of these blessings. Thank you for the messes. Thank you for the need that my children have of me, so I am then able to serve them and things like that. Last thing that I always try to remind myself is these days, these long days, even if they're short days, whatever days they might be, they won't be here forever. Our kiddos will only be little for so long. And when I put that into perspective on, will this stuff even matter like down the road? 99.9% of the time it won't. And so I always try to keep that on the forefront of my mind as well, that these years don't last. Yes, there's laundry piled here and there's dishes in the sink. I should take you a tour around my house right now because it's a mess. But yeah, at the end of the day, especially at the end of the month, at the end of the year, looking back, that stuff won't matter. And what will matter and what will be in my kiddos' memories is if they had a happy mama, if they had a joyful mama, or if their mama was just stressed out and overwhelmed all the time. And that's not the memory that I want, or the legacy that I want to leave my littles. Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. It is something I struggle with every day, honestly, because like I said, we as adults are the same, honestly, as our toddlers. We have a hard time maintaining our emotional balance. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Like I said, be sure to go check out Anna's channel. I'll have it linked down below. And don't forget to watch the playlist of other mamas kind of sharing tips and tricks on how they keep themselves from getting overwhelmed as well. But anyways, thank you again for watching. I'd love to have you join our family, and you can do so by subscribing down below. And until our next video, you guys stay safe and God bless. Bye. These ordinary days.